Hi guys, I hope you're really well. Okay, we're gonna cook something so scrumptious, so delicious. It comes up a lot in comments online, and that is a recipe for toad in the hole. Yes? You heard it right, toad in the hole. So the toad, theoretically, is a sausage, and you roast it up with a beautiful batter that you pour inside, and that gives you a Yorkshire pudding. I'm gonna make a beautiful gravy to go with it, with some steamed greens. Happy days. First up, I've got 9 beautiful sausages. So the first sausage, I'll put the big pan here on a medium heat, and then I'll squeeze the sausage out of the skin. And of course, the quality of your sausage makes all the difference. Go for a big one, because who doesn't like a big sausage? We're gonna fry this sausage, and we're gonna break it up with a spoon. So let that do its thing. The 8 sausages left go into that tray. I'm gonna give it a little kiss with oil. And then in this tray, I want about ½ centimetre of oil. So with the sausage here, just toss them up like that. So I'm gonna cook the sausages for 10 minutes. I'll also put this tray in as well to preheat the oil, right? Because one of the things about having a really good Yorkshire pudding is having that heat. So in it goes, back to this little story here. Next up, 3 onions. I'll just slice them up like this. I've gone quite fine, but if you want to kind of go a bit more rustic on the onions, that's absolutely fine. We can now give it a generous seasoning with pepper. I'll turn them down to a medium heat, fry them for about 20 minutes, okay? I'm crying, I'm emotional about it, but we want to get the lovely flavour out of the sausage into the onion. So we're going to make the most beautiful, simple, light Yorkshire pudding batter with a twist, okay? So I've got 700 grams of plain flour, good pinch of salt. Then I've got 500 mils of beautiful, organic whole milk. And then, here's the twist, 450 millilitres of good beer. Could be a lager. I've gone for a beautiful wheat beer. Nice and fruity, nice and fresh. So all I want to do now is whisk it up. Then we're going to go in with our eggs. So in we go with 14 large free-range eggs. That's going to give it the rise and kind of come out of the tray and make it fluffy. Whisk it in till it's nice and silky smooth. We need to get this batter into the 2 trays in as quick a time as possible, safely. So what you can do is just pour some of this batter, half of it, into a jug. Now put them somewhere where you can get to it easy when you open the door. So last but not least, rosemary. I'm gonna put some rosemary in each tray. So just a little handful like that. Right, let's do this. Okay, nice and calm, nice and quick. So in with half of the rosemary like that. Look at it frying. I'll do exactly the same on these sausages here, like that. I'll take this jug first, so pour that batter in and around the sausages, just like that. So that goes back on the top, and then for this second tray, we'll go in with the rest of the batter. And I'll fill it up about 2 centimetres off the bottom, and then I'll put this under here. Door closed, don't touch it. Once you close the door, don't go back to it for 30 minutes. Leave it, because you want to keep that pressure, that temperature in there, and that's how you get that amazing kind of growth of the Yorkshire pudding. So the way to take these beautiful onions to the next level is a couple of little tricks. First up, brown sauce. 2 tablespoons of the sauce goes in. Grab a little bit of whole grain mustard, just a teaspoon. Thickening agent, we're going to use flour. So 2 heaped tablespoons of plain flour goes in. I'm going to go in with 1 chicken stock cube. Chicken or beef, doesn't matter. And then we'll stir it all in. And then I've just got a boiled kettle here. You want about 700 millilitres to a litre of water. I'll just keep that slowly going over until that's ready in about 20-25 minutes. Happy days. So the toad in the hole is nearly ready. I'm very excited. It doesn't matter how many times I've made this, I get excited every time. I think I'll take a little ladle, this gravy, and just pour it in. Look at that, beautiful. Got the steamed greens. Come on, let's do this. Look at that, come on! Yes, so here we have the beautiful toad in the hole, stodgier, a bit lower, and then this is the reason that I've gone double whammy. Look at this. Come on, crispy, gorgeous, golden. Right, let's get in there. Slice this up. I just love this dish. So there we go. The gorgeous sausage, nice little bit of curly kale. Let's go over with some of this epic rustic gravy. And of course, as you're indulging in that, then you get in here, just rip off a nice little hunk. Guys, double whammy. Big Yorkie, toad in the hole, mega gravy. If few bits of green on the side. When you feel really hungry, the weather's a bit miserable, you know, you get a bit of Yorkshire pudding. So good. I want to see you guys doing this. Get amongst it and have a little try. Happy days. It's the ultimate sausage casserole. It's simple, it's humble, and we've got the most amazing potato dumplings that are crispy on the top, really gorgeous and gooey on the bottom. We've got loads of veg in there, a beautiful gravy, crispy sausages, so much stuff, massive flavour. This is a dish that every one of my kids absolutely loves. So let's do it. So I've boiled 800 grams of nice Maris Piper potatoes. Just cook them as you would for normal mashed potatoes. I'm going to clean this pan. That pan goes back on the heat, and then we'll let these potatoes just steam dry. Okay, it's all about making sausages incredible. So I've got 6 big, lovely Cumberland sausages here. The good news is I've also tested this with vegetarian sausages with very good results. So this is a very, very nice recipe that everyone can enjoy. In that same pan that we boiled the potatoes, just whack in a little bit of olive oil. Get that on a medium heat, take your sausages, and then gently fry these for about 10 minutes, give or take, until they're nice and golden all over. So just toss those around, take care of them. Sausages are something that we buy every single week. It's a really affordable product. And of course, upgrading to a good Cumberland, something with like 70, 75% meat, you know, free-range pork if you can. It makes all the difference. And you can taste it. It's delicious. So just give that a little bit of love. Right, the next thing we're going to do is gravy. Now, veg-wise, this is an excuse to really use lots of veg and mix them up if you want to. I'm going to be using carrots here. Now, don't bother peeling the carrots, right, because a lot of flavour is in the skin. Split that down the middle, and then into quarters, right, lengthwise, and then just cut it into like 1 or 2 centimetre chunks. If you wanted to use any other veg, fennel, turnips, beetroots, celeriac, fill your boots. Now on the leek here, you can use onion if you want. My missus doesn't like onions, so I'm always using leeks, and they're a fantastic ingredient. Super delicious, really nutritious. Just roughly chop them. So look, we've got some nice colour on these sausages now. Put them on a little bowl or plate. Make the sauce, and then put this back in to finish cooking. And it's a great little technique. The sausages will flavour the fats in the pan, and that's going to make the veggies really, really delicious. And that will go in the beginnings of our amazing gravy. Fry this off for about 10-15 minutes, and that will guarantee you massive flavour. It will shrink down, it will be gorgeous. In the meantime, let me show you how to make these dumplings. And if you think about some of the best casseroles or hot pots in the world, they often come with some kind of a dumpling. And I love that feeling of a dumpling, something that sucks up flavour from the gravy, that gives you bounce and texture. So what I thought is I would mash the potato, season it with salt and pepper, you know, fairly standard. But then, if we get some nice whole grain mustard, I'll take about a heaped teaspoon. And the mustard seeds, I think, really make this. It's like a little surprise. So look, once you've mixed all that together, roughly, chop it in half with your hand, in half again, and then we'll take that lump of potato and just kind of put it in your hand like a cricket ball, right? Imagine that in the gravy. So very, very simple. It's as easy as that. 4 lovely potato dumplings ready and raring to go. So let's have a little look at what's going on. The veggies have all shrunk. You've got the beginnings of caramelisation here. That is earning flavour. Can you see?
Dad?
Hey, hello,
Wait,
mate.
what are you doing?
I'm just making lunch. Are you hungry?
Yeah.
What are you up to?
I'm just going to go and play football.
Cool. All right. Well, you can come and
How
help me
long?
later if you want.
How long?
Come back in like 15 minutes.
Okay.
20 minutes. So look, have a look at these veggies. So we're now caramelising. You can see it on the leeks and the carrots. So now what I want to do is turn it from veg into a sauce, right? So we'll go in with 1 heaped teaspoon of whole grain mustard. Delicious. Then we're going to go in, wait for it, with a good old friend of mine, brown sauce, okay? So about 3 tablespoons. It smells incredible already. And you might think, well, is that a little bit of a cheat? Yes, it is, because it's got loads of spices, it's got tamarind in there, so you get that sweet and sourness that would be really hard for me to go and buy all those ingredients. So I've got a one-hit wonder there. Then we're going to get loads of the good stuff in there. So tins of mixed beans. So this dish is like really economical to make. If you can't get those or don't like those, you can go chickpeas. My kids love the old chickpeas in there as well. So get that in there, juice and all, right? And then last but not least, we're going to go for tinned tomatoes, right? So 1 whole tin goes in, and with your clean hands, just kind of squeeze the plum tomatoes in there to break them up. And then what you want to do is fill this up with water to clean the tin out, but also give you that little bit of extra moisture. And then we're going to bring that to the boil and simmer that for like 10, 15 minutes until it looks scrumptious, right? Really, really thick and gorgeous. The whole kind of heart of this recipe is everyday ingredients being brilliant, more exciting. Now, with our beautiful everyday Cumberland sausage, these are part cooked, right? I've got a little trick that I've taken inspiration from the Polish deli, and they have some amazing kielbasa sausages, and when they cook those sausages, they score them to create texture. And I love that. So by scoring it like this, it looks cool. It creates more surface area, which is more crispy bits, more flavour, yes! And then on the underside, this also sucks up more flavour from this gorgeous sauce. And then this, in turn, flavours the sauce. So there's this beautiful kind of like circle of flavour. So score little half-centimetre slices through your sausage that you've already browned off on both sides. It's really quick to do. And then if you look at the sauce now, see how lovely and thick it's getting. So what I want to do now is take the sausage and just sink it in this sauce. Any juices from the sausage get in there as well. Then we go in with the lovely potato dumplings straight in there. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Just brush it with some oil to get it really, really golden. Now, instead of using a brush, just use some herbs. A bit of thyme, a bit of rosemary, anything you can get hold of. So all I'm gonna literally do is pour in some oil and brush it, and that will not only make it go golden and gorgeous, it will absolutely flavour it. Take some of those thyme leaves and just put them in and around the pan. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I'll put it under the grill for about 10, 15 minutes on high, until golden and delicious. And look, when the kids or people say, "What's for dinner, Dad?" and you're like, "Sausage, mash and beans," they're like, "All right, but not as you know it." Let's have a look at our sausage casserole. Oh, it's blipping away beautifully. So that's looking really, really nice. So let's serve up now. Come and have a look at this. You hungry?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Whoa, how do you make the mountain things?
Mountains, they are potato dumplings.
Is there anything inside the potato dumplings?
A little bit of mustard, but it's basically super crispy on the top, stodgy on the bottom. Can you see how I've sliced the little sausages there to make them really crisp? And then the veggies and beans just kind of blipping away, looking really sumptuous. Gorgeous. How good is that? So let's just plate some up. You got your sausage in there. You got your veg in there. Absolutely beautiful. So a little bit of greens in there.
I have to have vegetables.
Yeah, of course you do.
There's vegetables in the thing, though.
Yeah, you get double vegetables because your dad's kind, and I'm always thinking about your health.
Ah, sausage.
Here we go. So let's have a little try of this. What you should get is massive flavour from the sauce. Sweet tomatoes, veggies and beans.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Go on, mate.
It's really nice.
What's your favourite bit of it?
The sausage, because they're crispy.
Super crispy. And what's really nice is the sausage has got that crispy top, but underneath it's also absorbed all the flavour from the sauce. Sauce is super nice. And have you tried one of those carrots? It
Yeah.
makes the veggies so good. So, so good. So what do you reckon, Buds? Are you happy with that, mate?
Yeah, delicious.
A lot of people get freaked out about doing beef Wellington for 10 or 12. It's a big thing, it's very expensive, but if you break it down for 2, you can manage it. And it all starts with a beautiful chunk of grass-fed beef fillet. 250 grams. This whole procedure is about celebrating that. So what's the most appropriate herb for beef fillet? Rosemary, an absolute classic. Just run your knife through the rosemary, season it up, then get your fillet steak and just roll it and fold it. That is nicely coated. We're gonna go into a hot pan with a little olive oil, a good knob of butter, a couple of cloves of garlic, and as soon as that starts sizzling up, we go in with the steak. Oh yeah, keep basting it. Just a minute and a half of searing. That'll be completely rare on the inside. So let that cool. And then all this fat has done its job, so we'll get rid of that. We're gonna make a mushroom duxelle, which is basically a mushroom pate. This, wrapped around the beef, is a thing of absolute beauty. So I'm gonna roughly chop a nice red onion. And then straight back in the pan with a fresh little drizzle of olive oil, a small knob of butter, absolutely lovely. So let's talk mushrooms, guys. The great thing about this dish is you could use the cheapest mushrooms or the most expensive, and this is still absolutely sublime. So look, I need 250 grams, which is about that much. Then with the onions, I'll put the smaller ones in whole. Button mushrooms, I can just crush in my hand. Look at that. Season with salt and pepper. Don't forget, we've got the garlic. If you just squeeze it out of the skin, we can put that straight back in here. Now, if you want to pimp it even more, then dried mushrooms are key. These are porcini. You need a tiny amount, literally 3 will make all the difference. Put these in a little glass. Just put some hot water over the top, and the flavour extracted is like a massive fungi stock cube. And just go in with these soaked mushrooms. I'll keep back a little bit of that water for my sauce later. We can also put in any resting juices from our steak. And at this stage, we're gonna wazz it up. Now, you can do this by hand, but I find food processors get that nice pate-like consistency. Lid goes on, and we'll have a little whiz up. Right, the duxelle is done. Next, I'll show you how to make pancakes. An absolute classic part of this dish to soak up any excess juice out of the beef fillet. So in here, we go with the 1 cup method. So grab yourself any cup. We're gonna do 1 milk, that goes in. We're then gonna go with 1 cup of self-raising flour. Lovely free-range egg goes in, 100 grams of spinach. So I want to add colour and flavour. So lid on top and a nice little wazz. And in no time at all, you get this crazy green pancake batter that is so good. Add a little olive oil to a pan and simply go in with that batter, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Once it's dried up on the top, you can simply just turn it over, give it 10 seconds on the other side. So there we have 1 lovely, vivid green pancake. So let's bring this together now. We've got the beautiful steak, the mushrooms, this amazing pancake. I'm gonna use this lovely little technique, which is gonna help you build this incredible feat of gastronomy. So I'm gonna add my pancake. I want the heat and the aggression of beautiful English mustard. Go in there with like a teaspoon and a half, boom. So you'll get that color and that heat, and then we'll take the mushroom. So we want just under 1 centimetre of this incredible mushroom paste. Just spend a little bit of time evenly moving this around. And then once you've done that, we're gonna grab our lovely steak, place that in there like that, and then we're gonna take 1 corner and another and bring it up. And then if you just twist it, the action of doing that, squeezing out the air, just gives you this perfect little kind of sphere. And that, my friends, is gonna sit inside your pastry, and it's gonna be phenomenal. Right, next we want the pastry. So I'm using lovely all butter puff pastry. So I can take this, place it on here, I can use my knife and sort of just trim it up like that. So we can take that off and then I can place it on the pastry. And then I want some egg wash. Just go around the edge like that. So think of it like edible glue. We're gonna lay this over the top and just rotate it. It's just almost like tucking it into bed, right? What I wanna do is just kind of trim around the edge. So now, egg wash this. That is more than perfect enough to whack in the oven, but oh no, 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 no. I wanna do this for someone very special. So I'm gonna go the extra mile. Roll out a chunk of pastry. I only need half. I wanna show you a little technique that's kind of fun. So get a little knife and do little inch slices with a little centimetre gap. When it comes to the second line, we're gonna go an inch slice, but we're gonna go within the gap, like that. Now, they call this a lattice. This is an optional extra I absolutely love. Take your pastry and give it a little shake, and something beautiful will happen. I'm just gonna trim off the excess. Use your thumb and forefinger and push down that edge and have a pinch. Who would have thought a few scores and a few pinches could be so effective? We're gonna cook it in a preheated oven at 220 degrees Celsius for 25 minutes exactly at the bottom of the oven so you get a crispy bun. Plenty of time to knock up a delicious onion and thyme gravy, finished off with a cheeky glass of port and that leftover porcini liquid. Simmer away until thick and shiny, and you'll have the perfect partner for your beef Wellington. Ho, 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 ho. Look at that. Gorgeous. It is a thing of utter beauty. Get a sharp knife, commit to the middle, and carve down all the way to the bottom, and then the moment of truth. Oh, yes! Come on, man, look at that! Let me introduce you to your new best friend. Beef Wellington for two. Gorgeous. And just add that sauce so it surrounds that Wellington. Happy days. Right, I'm gonna go straight for the middle. Oh, it's so crispy. Right down to the bottom. Right, let's do it. Oh, wow. The beef fillet is so tender. That incredible mushroom duxelle. The pastry's crisp, it's really special, and every now and again, you deserve something special with someone you love. This meatloaf is always a winner with my lot. Classically comforting and then ramped up a notch with pork and beef for flavour and juiciness, oozy mozzarella and a jacket of smoked bacon. All served with aromatic fennel, lashings of gravy and a volcano of mashed potato. Okay, first job. It's super simple. Let's get the veg cooking. Throw a swig of olive oil into a large pan. Tear up some fresh sage and rosemary. Then add 2 chopped onions and 2 carrots to make a rich veggie base. Just a little bit of seasoning. And we'll slowly fry that on a medium-low heat for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Let it caramelise, let the flavours sweeten and really intensify. Then we'll let it cool down, and then that will go in the meatloaf, and it will make all the difference. Next up, fennel, the surprising star ingredient to make this meatloaf sing. I'm using 4 medium bulbs, sliced into wedges. They're crunchy and they're aniseedy, but as you slow cook them or roast them, they just become sweet and savoury and have depth of flavour. Absolutely beautiful. Lay the bulbs in the bottom of a roasting pan. Add a few chopped fennel tops for extra flavour and season and drizzle with olive oil. Give it all a good toss and then roast in the oven for 30 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. Okay, so the fennel has been roasting and look, it's half cooked. That's looking very nice. This has cooled down, right? And it's lovely and sweet and gorgeous. So let's make the meatloaf, okay? And meatloaf can be made out of any blend of mincemeat, but let's get really into it. This is what makes it good or great to incredible. For the best flavour, I'm using a kilo of pork shoulder and 1 kilo of beef brisket, but you can go for any good quality mince you like. Add your cooled down veg and 200 grams of breadcrumbs to absorb the juices and give the meatloaf lightness. And then we're going to go in with 2... Aye. You all right?
Yeah.
Do you want to do some cooking?
Yeah.
Next, my 2 little helpers will crack in 2 eggs. Eggs go in the middle. Add a generous sprinkling of salt and pepper, 2 teaspoons of whole grain mustard, and then, to take this meatloaf to the next level, tear in a ball of creamy mozzarella. We've got the seasoning and the veg, and the breadcrumbs soak up all the fat, and it's juicy and delicious. But then you get these little bombs of mozzarella that are gooey and sort of just gorgeous. With all the elements added, it's all hands on deck for the mixing. So try and keep it in the bowl. The points for keeping it in the bowl. I know this is a problem for you. Keep it in the bowl. Make sure that all the ingredients are evenly distributed so that every bite will be layered with flavour. Once mixed, form it into a loaf shape and lay it in your dish of half-roasted fennel. Now, we're going to roast it, but we want to do more. We want to add more flavour. So grab the bacon, please, buddy. Crisscross the rashers of smoked bacon, leaving gaps so the rich fat can kiss the meat and the top can go crispy and golden. Then, to keep it nice and juicy, wet some greaseproof paper, cover and tuck it into bed. Pop the meatloaf into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit and roast it initially for 30 minutes. OK, so it's had half an hour and it's basically cooked now, but without character. I want to create an incredible sauce, and there's a really simple way to do that. Take 500 mils of beef, chicken or veg stock, add a tablespoon of sun-dried tomato paste, then 2 tablespoons of blackcurrant jam, and give it a good stir. So all we do now is pour that over, and like any gravy, all the sticky bits off the bottom of the tray will start to blend. Really nice, look at that. Finish by scattering some sage and rosemary, rubbed in a little olive oil, over the meatloaf. Then pop it back into the oven for another 45 minutes to let all those gorgeous flavours come together. So, the meatloaf is done. And this is what you get, ladies and gents.
Yum.
Look at that. Lovely gravy, gorgeous golden meatloaf. Serve with fresh, lightly blanched greens, and then a proper 80s favourite, a volcano of creamy mashed potato erupting with melted butter. Cabbage, volcano potatoes, lovely meatloaf. You ready to try some?
Yeah.
You know, the point is we don't want a dry meatloaf, so if we look in here, it's juicy. So there you have it, guys. A classic weekend comforting meatloaf, deeply flavoured with smoked bacon and mozzarella on a bed of aromatic fennel, swimming in gorgeous gravy. The ultimate centrepiece for a family feast. Absolutely comforting, delicious, deep flavour.
Really nice.
So juicy and tasty. The sweetness from the jam in the sauce is off the chart good. And then the fennel. Look at this, beautiful shoulder of lamb. And I have to be honest, the shoulder of lamb is my favourite bit of the whole animal. And I tell you what, if more people bought it, it would give butchers all around the country a much easier life, because legs of lamb, walk out the door. Racks of lamb, walk out the door. But these little babies need a tiny bit of thought, a little bit of TLC, and cook it slow. And this meat is sweet, it's delicious, and you don't have to do too much to it. So, first of all, get yourself a knife and just score up erratically the lamb, just to open it up a little bit, like that. And then all I want to do is get a roasting tray. I'm going to get a garlic clove and just smash them up like that. Throw a few on the bottom. Get some salt. Season the lamb on both sides. And then pepper. And real simple. The whole point of this is utter simplicity, but then care when you cook it. Get yourself a nice wodge of rosemary. Look at that stuff, beautiful. And just tear it into bits and put it in the bottom of the tray. Rosemary and garlic, classic combo for lamb. And then put your lamb in nice and snug here. And then put a few of the garlic cloves on top here. Tear up some rosemary here, nice big handful of rosemary. Be brave. And then just a tiny little drizzle of olive oil just to get that fat rendering and going. And then tin foil. 2 sheets of tin foil. Put this over here like this. Tightly seal it. And then this is the bit that's going to turn this simple, good value piece of meat into the most incredible roast, right? 4 hours at, well, what I've done is I've got an oven at full whack, OK? And as soon as it goes in, turn it straight down to 170 degrees Celsius, or about 330 Fahrenheit. And what happens is that intense heat gets on the lamb, gets it sort of going, and then the oven cools down, and we're going to gently cook that now, that lower temperature, for about 4 hours. And in 4 hours' time, that lamb is going to be so delicious, sticky, you can pull it apart. It'll be the best roast lamb you ever have. Right, let's get this lamb out. Beautiful. Fantastic smell. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And you can see, even though it's had tin foil over it, it's got beautiful colour all the way over. And what I do now, the shoulder of lamb, you can see the bone is literally falling out. That's how tender and delicious it is. I'm just going to pick it up, put it onto our platter, like that. Let that just sit. You know there's a bit of meat that's just... See how that... Look. That is total tenderness. And... Oh. Boo. So in here, we've got these beautiful garlic cloves, and if you just squeeze them, then all this beautiful, lovely, soft, sweet garlickiness, you can just mix it with a bit of gravy and then a bit, you know, potato or veg or whatever, and it is the best thing ever in the world. So don't go throwing those away. And then what you need to do now is get rid of the rest of the rosemary and any of the excess oil, like that. So if you look in the bottom of the pan now, what you've got is beautiful stickiness. So I'm going to put that on the heat, and we're going to make a funky, old-school caper and mint sauce, but not like a cold mint sauce, hot mint sauce. So first of all, with all the sticky goodness here, I want to put a tablespoon of flour. And obviously what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to thicken your sauce, which is fine. And you can see the colour of it already is that marmitey stickiness that's cooked out of the lamb. And you never want to throw that away, that's gold dust. And while that's doing their thing, I've got some lovely fresh mint from the garden. Finely slice it. And I tell you what, when you make your own fresh mint sauce, as opposed to just getting it out of the jar, you know, it takes seconds to do, and it just tastes so fantastic. And then bring your capers into it. Literally put the two into each other and continue to chop. Go straight in with your mint and capers. And then I've got a pint of chicken stock. Bring it to the boil, and I need you to simmer it for hours, just enough to get all that stickiness dissolved so you've got that wonderful flavour, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. Over here, I've just chopped up some swede, some carrots, some potatoes, boil them till they're soft, and I'm going to drain them. So pour your veg in there. And then, once you've drained it, put it back in the pan, and we can put them straight back on the heat. Nice knob of butter. And for me, this is it, you know, put the lamb on, go out, have some fun, go do your thing with your mates, your kids, go down the pub, go watch football. Come back, you know, you've got the tin foil on the lamb, nothing's going to go wrong too quickly. Get the gravy on, bit of smashed veg, and you can pull it all together pretty damn quick. And a nice pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper, and then get a masher and just mash them up like that. I don't want you to mash the hell out of them. I'm not looking for a puree. You're not going to get extra points for making baby food. But just look at the colours. Beautiful. So, sauce is ready. Let's bring this together now. We get our smashed veg in here. Look at the colour of that. Total comfort food. Just great. And then a little extra knob of butter just in the top there. Let it melt. With the sauce, you've got that intensity of the lamb in the flavour, you've got the stock, the freshness of the mint and the capers. About a tablespoon of good red wine, white wine, cider vinegar to give it a bit of a twang. And obviously that acidity will help cut through the richness of the lamb. And then I'm just going to pour this lovely gravy in. Look at that. Wonderful hot caper and mint sauce, which will just knock your socks off. Works with lamb, a proper treat. And then I've got some lovely Cavolo Nero, just been quickly boiled. Look at that. Tossed in a little olive oil and a squeeze of lemon juice. It's got salt and pepper in it already. So, lovely bit of greens, proper mash or smashed veg, incredible gravy here. And I want to show you this beautiful lamb because the whole point of this dish, apart from the sweetness and flavour, is the tenderness, right? And literally all I have to do is put my knife in here and you can see it all just bust apart. Look at that. That is the real deal. And once you've tried that lovely shoulder of lamb, you'll be doing it again and again and again. This dish is absolutely inspired by our Scottish brothers and sisters, using the incredible spices of haggis. We're going to do lamb shanks that are so tender they're just going to fall off the bone. We're going to have a kick of marmalade, whiskey, and a deep, rich veggie sauce on a creamy, cheesy pearl barley risotto. You're going to love it. So it all begins here with these 6 beautiful lamb shanks. What I like to do is go to my butcher. These have been French trimmed at the top, which expose the bone. They look absolutely beautiful. I'm going to kiss them with just a little olive oil, and I'll season these with salt and pepper. And then what we want to do is get that into a frying pan, which is on a medium heat. So we want to brown off the lamb shanks to get beautiful colour, to create more flavour. Now, at the same time, add a little olive oil to a pan. I'm just going to finely chop 4 slices of smoked bacon. Then go in with some bay leaves for flavour. The smell is already incredible. So next ingredient, onions. I'm going to use 1 white and 1 red. I want to cut them quite big. In with the onions, a couple of carrots, nice big chunks of carrot. Then we're going in with our friend Mr. Swede. Ultimately what I'm after is 1-inch chunks. Last but not least, the humble celery stick. And in we go. What we're doing now is intensifying and caramelising like natural sugars in the veggies. 15 minutes dedicated to colour, colour, colour. So, let's talk spices. Haggis, such an incredible dish. The spicing is brilliant. So go into a mortar with those classic haggis spices. A tablespoon of black pepper, 10 allspice berries, 5 cloves, and grate in half a nutmeg. Bash them together until fine and sieve them over the veg. This is all getting very exciting. I can even be a little bit cheeky and steal a little bit of the lamb fat, full of flavour. You can see caramelising in full effect. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of thick cut marmalade. It's going to make everything shine and it's going to start to caramelise even more. I want to add a thickening agent now. So 1 generous heaped tablespoon of flour, and then one of my favourite ingredients, 4 shots of really nice Scotch whiskey. Now, if you want, what you can do is flame it. Of course, when you're flaming, be careful, because you want the alcohol to cook away fully. As soon as that's happened, add this amazing golden lamb shank. Look at that colour. Any sticky bits from the pan can go in. Pour in a litre of beef stock, then scrunch up a sheet of greaseproof paper and cover the pot. So I love to put the greaseproof on instead of a lid, because what happens is it lets it slowly evaporate, concentrate in that lovely gravy, and it's going to be richer and tastier for it. So I'm going to cook that now for 3 hours at 170 degrees Celsius, and the oven's going to do all the hard work and make it so tender you won't believe. Now, I want to show you how to make the most delicious sweet leek pearl barley risotto. With these lovely big leeks, concentrate on the white part. Cut it in half lengthwise, like that, and I just want to finely slice the leeks. Add a knob of butter to a new pan, a couple of sprigs of thyme, then go in with your leeks. Add a splash of water and cook over a medium heat for 15 minutes. The leeks have just been ticking away. Have a look at that. The softness and sweetness that's come out of these leeks is unbelievable. We can add 450 grams of pearl barley. Now look, these are fantastic little grains. And it has this incredible ability, just like risotto grains, to suck up flavour from not only the leeks that are sweet and delicious, but good stock. Go in with 1.5 litres of chicken stock, cover and cook for around 40 minutes until the barley is tender. The pearl barley is smelling delicious, and if we have a little taste, oh, it's delicious. What I want to do is just add about 500 mils of milk to sort of make it pearly white. And there's one last ingredient, cheddar cheese. Not only for flavour, but also for seasoning. In we go, and just stir it in. Turn the heat off. Let it just sit. Beautifully, kind of getting even more silky and gorgeous. Let's think about serving up. Have a little look at that. Come on, chunks of veg. Let's grab one of those shanks. Just amazing. And then let's go over to that incredible pearl barley. Look at that starchy, comforting gorgeousness. Oh. I'll take just a few thyme tips, sprinkle it on the top. Come on, let's get some of that. See how silky it is? I'll go in with the veg first. Look at those chunks. And what I love is the way that the dark, thick gravy marbles through that silky barley risotto. Wowzers, let's get amongst it. And we know we've done good work on the lamb when you can just shake, shake, shake the meat off the bone. Come on, look at that, yes! Right, enough yapping. Deep flavour, tender, sweet meat. I've just got a little hit of marmalade, just a little chunk of that orange peel works so well with the swede, the whiskey, the dark gravy. Oh, go out this weekend, get yourself some lamb shanks and have a proper little cook-up. You will love it. There's nothing better than cooking something delicious for friends or family, and you don't have to wait till the end of the weekend to do a beautiful roast. Introducing pot roast pork, wrapped in cured meat with sage and garlic, and a side dish of celeriac, spinach, and some compotted apple and rhubarb. Oh yes, let's do this. So this is a beautiful piece of pork loin. It's about 1 kilo. We've removed belly and fat to make it convenient. So it's going to cook really evenly, but we have lost flavour. So we've got to add it back in. So we'll do that by creating an amazing marinade and wrapping it in the cured meat. First up, I'm going to use a fantastic herb, sage. The smell is amazing. And then I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Take your pestle and smash it up. Then go in with 2 cloves of garlic. Once the garlic has been smashed, then finish off the marinade process with 2 tablespoons of oil and about 1 tablespoon or 2 of red wine vinegar. That, my friends, is unbelievable flavour potential. Pour it over the pork, and then we can have a nice little rub up. Let's have a look at the cured meat for wrapping. So take a piece of greaseproof paper. We'll rub that with a little olive oil. And then here I'm using a cured meat called Coppa di Parma. But of course you can use Parma ham, use whatever you can get your hands on. And I'm just gonna lay out this incredible cured meat, turn this, take that amazing cut of pork. We're using simply rolling and gravity to wrap that, okay? Now at this stage, we wanna secure it. So I'm gonna take some string, do a double knot, and pull it fairly tight, right? We want to secure that to the pork. And there you go. Something truly beautiful and ready for cooking. So pan goes on, just a little bit of olive oil, a little knob of butter, and as it starts to bubble and fry, we'll go in with this incredible piece of pork. Listen to that, come on, that's what it's all about. Now, we will just move this pork around and we'll achieve a little bit of light golden colour. While the pork browns, slice up a stick of celery, cut the red onion into wedges and add to the pan with a couple of sprigs of rosemary. It's just lovely, savoury flavours. This is going to be beautiful. So, you know, as it starts to fry and get golden and crisp, then we add a little Chianti, just a little. We don't want to boil.
And that's going to create the most amazing sort of humid, delicious environment where the fat and the Chianti is just kind of creating this shiny cream that just bastes the meat. That's pot roasting. So it's going in the oven for about 40 minutes. Every 10 minutes, I'll turn it and baste it. And this will give you golden, delicious, moist pork. What I'll do now is bang this in an oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. It's going to be truly amazing. So as that beautiful pork cooks, what could go with it? I'm thinking celeriac. You can steam it, grill it, you can mash it, you can pretty much treat it like a parsnip or a potato, but also most of the flavour is in the skin. So I've had a proper little scrub up. Generously sort of cut off those lobes of skin. There you go. So all I do here is a little seasoning and a little oil, celeriac cracklings in the bottom of the oven. Into a new pan, add a tablespoon of olive oil, a few sprigs of thyme, and go in with the chopped celeriac. And about half an hour of cooking and that will be beautiful. As that's happening, I want to do a compote. Apples, very, very traditional, quite British, but then I'm kind of rifting off into the wonderful world of rhubarb. Sour. It's got that kind of weird sort of tropical slap. Chunk up the rhubarb and add to the roasting tray. Then peel and chop a red and green apple. Add a pinch of salt and pepper, a tablespoon of brown sugar, a splash of red wine vinegar, and throw in a knob of butter. So give it a nice little mix up. This goes in the oven. Let's have a look at our pork and give it just another drizzle of the Chianti. Look at that. Just move it over and just add that juice and it's going to be amazing. Put the pork back in the oven and let it cook away, remembering to turn and baste it every 10 minutes. Come on! Look at that gorgeous, simple sauce. Now, I'm gonna let the meat rest in its juices, right? About 10 minutes. That will give you a tastier, more tender cut of meat. And then here, we have got the celeriac. I want to bring some greens into the story. So baby spinach, 2 bags, get it in there. Use the residual steam, a couple of minutes, and then it's plate up time. So exciting. The smell is phenomenal. Look at this. Come on. Colour, flavour, smells, that's what it's about. If I just push it, look at the moisture coming out of it. Dry pork, no longer. No way, Jose. Different vibe, but it's going to put a massive smile on your face. The idea of sauce, gravy. Right, we're not going to have pints of the stuff, sorry. But what I'll give you in return is flavour like you've never had before. And we've got a roasted rhubarb and apple compote. Crispy celeriac cracklings. Ladies and gentlemen, pot roast pork wrapped in cured meat. Oh, that is so good. Nice bit of the old cured meat, the silky soft pork, and that Chianti juice is so good. Little kiss of sweetness from the compote. That, my friend, is a little fork of heavenly beauty. Oh, what a way to start the weekend. I am so excited to give you a recipe for an amazing homemade pie. Beautiful crumbly pastry, chicken, sweet leeks, creamy sauce. This is gonna be amazing. It starts here with a chicken. So a nice free-range chicken. What I wanna do first is cut it in half. Just hold the chicken, get the tip, cut down the back, and then down the breast. So in a pan, we'll have just a tiny bit of oil. So chicken goes into the pan. I'm using the whole chicken. You get maximum flavour from the bones and the bone marrow. But also, the joy of white meat, brown meat, and the sweet meat is incredible. So we've got a second pan on a medium heat. And what I want to do is start frying off a beautiful base to give you the best pie filling ever. For that, I'm going to start with some smoky bacon. Just cut ourselves some little lardons. So into the pan we go. Add a little oil. And that is an incredible welcoming party for vegetables and herbs. So we'll start off with thyme, to rip that in, and then base vegetables. 1 heart of celery, 1 onion, 1 carrot, and 1 leek. Roughly sliced into sort of 1.5 centimetre dice. Into the pan. I don't want the veg so small that it's going to disappear. I want to have chunks of veggies. So about 10-15 minutes of gentle frying. So that gives us time to clean down and make the pastry.
Add 500 grams of plain flour to a bowl, a pinch of sea salt, and 250 grams of very cold butter.
So by grating the butter like that, it just makes it so easy to rub into the flour.
Pour in 100 millilitres of cold water and bring it together.
And kind of hug it. No kneading, just hugging. That's what we want. And I'm gonna just form it into 2 balls.
Divide so it's 1/3 for the lid and 2/3 for the base. Wrap them up and flatten out and leave to chill in the fridge until needed.
If you look in here now, we have a nice bit of colour. That means we've got mega flavour already. I want to turn this into a beautiful sauce to stew that chicken, right? To pull out all that flavour. I'm going to use scrumpy, beautiful cloudy cider. Just a nice little swig goes in. The smell is phenomenal. And we want to cook all of that cider away.
Go in with a heaped teaspoon of English mustard, 2 heaped tablespoons of plain flour, a litre of chicken stock, and bring to a simmer.
At this point in the story, we've created that stewing environment, and we're taking that lovely, crispy golden chicken, and those bones are straight down into that sauce. So lid on top, and just let it blip away for around about an hour until the thigh meat pulls off the bone, and that will be incredible. This fat in the pan, by the way, I'm going to keep that for a little secret later. So the chicken is done. If I just pull the thigh meat, and it should just fall off the bone. That's what we want. Super tender, super delicious, happy days. Oh. So, meat into here. I have been slicing up 500 grams of button mushrooms. By putting the mushrooms in at this stage, you get really sweet, nutty mushroom flavour. Stir that through. Okay, so now 2 forks and just pull that tender meat from the bone. At this point, the bones have done their job. They've given you awesome flavour.
Carefully remove all the bones, add the chunks of chicken back to the stew, and mix through 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche.
So I want this stew to do 2 things. Give me amazing, perfect filling, and then also an incredible sauce. And we can have both by one easy little trick that I love. Get yourself a pan, get yourself a colander, and sieve that filling. The sauce will go through it, and you can reheat that later to pour on top of your pie. Put that to one side, and now we can make our pie. So we'll get our pastry out of the fridge, and we'll roll this out so it's gonna line this beautiful pie dish. What I will do is just give a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of the dish and give it a rub.
Put your chilled pastry in between a sheet of greaseproof paper and roll it till it's 1/2 centimetre thick. Add to the pie dish, pour in the cooled filling, and roll out your pie lid.
I don't care if it cracks. I embrace it. Look, I'm gonna tear it. Oh no, there's a crack. It doesn't matter. We're gonna just tear it up and put it in just like that. And as we take in the sides, we're gonna create just a beautiful rustic pie. So just a little egg wash. So I'm gonna cook that now for about an hour, put it at the bottom of the oven. The temperature will be 190 degrees Celsius, which is 375 Fahrenheit, and that will be a thing of beauty. So that glorious pie is nearly done. And I've just knocked up a bit of mashed potato. You guys know how to do that, but what you might not know how to do is make cabbage beautiful. We're gonna do something quick and delicious and amazing.
Roughly slice up the cabbage and add to the chicken fat you saved earlier. Cook over a high heat until softened and lightly charred. Add a splash of water, a teaspoon of mustard, and a pinch of salt and white pepper.
These 3 things bring out the most wonderful flavour. Just takes your everyday cabbage to another place. So cabbage is done. Our gravy is bubbling away and reheating nicely. And then, yes, that, my friends, is what I wanted. Look at that. Bubbling, blipping, look. Just so good. The hispy cabbage that is soft and succulent, but it's got the char. Good old mashed potato, always a good friend of a pie. Then we'll get a gravy boat. This poured over the top of your pie will be a joyful thing. Oh, look how flaky that pastry is. I'm very excited. Come on. Look at that, we've got the chunks of chicken, the flaky pastry. That is a slice of heaven. Let's have a dunk mash, some of that amazing cabbage done good, and then gravy. Let's get in there. Hallelujah. You know, using the whole chicken gives you the hyper flavour. Everyone deserves to enjoy a good homemade pie. Guys, what are you waiting for?